intro. Yeah, that's me, right? You know what? This is for my History Revisited channel. And you know something? That's the thing about history. I've struggled every day to look at what our current situation, what's going on in America today, and the more I read about the history, the more I look back at things, the more I realize just how effed up we've gotten, and what's sad, it's just how many people don't see it. They're struggling to see the obvious. In part, I get it. And a lot of us we're literally fighting every day to just keep our heads above water. Uh, yeah, the economy seems to be doing well, right? The unemployment's way down. That's always a good thing. Although apparently there's such a thing as being too low of an unemployment for for the economy. Interest rates are coming down or gotten down quite a bit compared to where they were a year ago. But are you any better than you were last year? I'm just asking. Is your money stretch any further? Are you able to? You know, I, I struggle every week just to make sure we can get all the basics taken care of and our existing bills, and the bills stop. They just, more crap comes, and I can't. And then the cost of everything just keeps going up, and there's no money left to save anything. They talk about saving for retirement. How? I'm 57, dude, and I've never, ever had a job where I had the luxury of putting 50 to 100 bucks away every month, just a month, right? I've only had one job where I had a 401k. That job was a long time ago. Current jobs, that's part is working for small pops, mom and pops. That it has its problems. It's side effects too, but it's not better. It's worse. And then we work so hard. We talk about all the social issues, the social issues that are being dog whistled all over the place by the various politicians out there of any color. And I'll tell you, I'm not Republican and I'm not damn Democrat. I mean, I vaguely relate to being an independent, because what is an independent today? I mean, really, what is it? What does that mean? Because it really does. I don't know what people think that means. When the considerable position is people, I look at it as, I don't like a lot of what the GOP does, and I don't like a lot of what the Democrats do. But I understand that we all have to work together, and that there's some give and take. But when we reach this impasse of absolutes, or one side constantly caving to the other side's crazy demands, that things just keep getting crazier and worse, right? It's just, I remember when Ronald Reagan was president, vaguely. I didn't vote for him. That was a little before my time, but I started to see the so-called effects of this Reaganomics, the trickle-down crap, early in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s. It was obvious to those of us on the poor end of things that things were not getting better, they were getting worse. So when I look at everybody talking about the millennials today, what does that got to do with history? History is our lodestone. This is what happened, is what allows us to say, well, this happened then, and this was the results or the outcome, and they weren't necessarily good ones, or this is how they turned that around and made it better. It's important to know that stuff. It's just like certain things are faith. There's a lot of people go on and on about religion and faith. Well, guess what? Faith covers a lot more than just religion. It's called faith in your government, faith in the judicial system, faith in the people that you allow to make decisions for you, and or to be smarter than you. Let's be honest. Majority of us we're not Einsteins, and we'll never be Einsteins. That doesn't make us stupid. Unfortunately, there's a whole crop of politicians on both sides of the aisle today that think we are stupid. And by the behavior of a lot of our contemporaries, probably we are stupid. We're much stupider than we think we are. And I ask yourself, is that willful stupidity or intentional stupidity? Right? Are we willfully being stupid? I look at, once again, I don't like Trump. I never liked Trump. I've always thought of him as a pretentious blowhard. Whenever I've ever seen him. Don't like him. Don't like what he stands for. And the more we know about him now, the less I like this guy. In some ways, this guy scares the crap out of me. In part because, once again, I'm a student of my history. understand, if you go back in the history, don't even not that far ago, the most common reference is Hitler today, but there's a damn good comparison going on here, right? And I guarantee you, if you were a fly on the wall in the late 30s in Germany, knowing what you know now, what's going on in America, with an open enough mind to just listen to what's going on and make your own decisions on it and not depend on some outlet or news source to tell you what's going on. You can't depend on any of those people. They're all fake news. Well, yeah, it's money news. That's all it's about. Money, 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 money. Because that's what makes money. It sells newspapers and brings people to the TV tube, etc. So we end up this problem with an individual whose entire lifetime is over and over again flaunting the law, flaunting the economic side of business. He's a horrible businessman, and his skill in business is more about how to avoid paying his bills and getting other people to pay for him and to, I don't know, bounce from one thing to the next. But every project he personally himself is involved in has been a failure. So it's not really a surprise that his political, his term as president's a failure by every definition of that. Although there are so many people that are so rabid about the concept of what he's supposed to represent that they blind themselves willingly ignorant about the man and his actions. So, is there an agenda on the other side to see that this guy never gets to be back in the office as a politician again? Damn straight there is. You have to be a stupid, ignorant fool, and I'm afraid that's most of America these days, I'm afraid it seems like, to not see that. Yeah. But, are they targeting him and making up crap? They don't have to. Trump's his own worst freaking enemy. He won't shut up. Non-stop. Shut up. He's constantly admitting to doing the very things he says because they're not a criminal act. No, this is a guy who's always peripherally looked at something and said, how can I take advantage of this? And ignored the facts behind it, more often to his detriment, costing more money and more effort than it's rewarded him. Had he started out dirt poor, instead of having the money and connections and resources that his dad left him, Trump would be nobody. Trump would never have been anybody. He'd be another working schlep out there slaving away for the greater glory of some corporate overlord somewhere. And that's my take on that stuff. I mean, that's my biggest bitch about most politicians, period. And they've been that way, is most of them are in the wallet or in the pockets of the handful of people who have the lion's share of the wealth in this country. When they talk about, 75% of Americans will control 75%, yeah, individually, that means jack. 75% of the wealth that's controlled by, or the 75% of the country control this amount of wealth kind of crap. No, we talk it the other way around. So 75% of the, quote, wealth, and I know that's an inflated number, is in the hands of 1% of 1% of the population. And when you have a Jeff Bezos and a Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk deciding that they're going to pull strings, and they're the visual ones. They're the ones that the social media likes to lambast. The real manipulators are old school money, old school corporations, old school and connections, and you don't hear about them very often. This George Soros character, I didn't know who this dude was. Yes, I know. We're almost done. Yeah, that's little Missy over there. She's another stray. We picked her up. She showed up at the house last week, and she was just so skin and bones. So we're trying to get her some weight on her, and we're getting her dewormed. And so she's spending her day. She said, "Yes, you're safer in here. Yes, and we got you a radio, and you're just wanting to get out of the box. If she was out of the box, she'd be all over the table, and she's not quite tame enough to be wanting to, get out of my way kind of stuff, because she loves you in the room, but the minute you turn around to go to leave, she wants to bite your ankles and stuff because she doesn't want you to leave. She wants to be with you, and that's we're trying to help her. Yes, we are. So in that case, geez, am I surprised by the sheer amount of stuff that's been brought against Trump, for example, 91 counts, been indicted now 4 times? No. Am I surprised that Trump really honestly truly believes that he's innocent and that he's being railroaded and he's being he's being attacked? Yeah, I believe he thinks that. And I don't, not a sociologist. I'm just a layman when it comes to things like people being sociopaths and psychopaths and freaking narcissists, and every guidepost I've ever seen, Trump rings all the bells on those, and it's not a good thing. That's not a good thing, and he's got a combination of those things that makes it even worse. So that's what scares me. What scares me is that there's a real good chance that one of these are going to stick. There's yes. So is there an agenda to make sure something that Trump gets punished? Hell yeah, he violated the law over and over and over again. Just because you choose to manipulate the wording so it sounds like you didn't doesn't change the fact. No, our First Amendment rights allow us, Second Amendment rights allow us to do a lot of stuff, say a lot of things. Freedom of speech means a lot to a lot of people. But there's a difference between saying somebody cheated, somebody stole from you, somebody is out to get you. It's another to sit down with a group of other people and start plotting out how to steal something. Steal an election, rob a bank. You're sitting around the room, and you're drunk or high at home with your buddy, and you're just like, yeah, we should just go knock over a bank. Oh, that'll solve all our problems, right? You're just being stupid. When you get down and your buddy, and you get your buddy's cousin in there, and you're all sitting around the table with a map and thinking, well, if we park the car here and we wear a ski mask and we go do this, now you've crossed over. You've actually moved from just being a kook talking kooky shit to a person who's intentionally plotting to do something nefarious. Now, is that illegal? It's a little gray. It's a little gray. You probably will not get prosecuted and put in prison for making plans to rob a bank until you rob the bank or you make an attempt. So you actually show up at the bank. You don't even have to go inside. Just showing up at the bank with your buddies, with the equipment that you think you need to pull off this bank robbery, to now have violated several damn laws and be potentially sent to prison for it. See, this is where they're willfully playing ignorance on the side of the GOP, and Trump specifically is somewhat willfully ignorant, somewhat believingly ignorant, that talking is all they did. That none of that other stuff matters. When in truth, the other stuff is what really freaking matters. The talking part just got everybody's attention. The actual actions is what you're going to pay for. And I'm going to tell you right now, Trump will not like prison. Prison sucks to high hell. Prison is not a good place. And somebody like Trump, he's going to die there. He'll die there sooner than later. And it won't be because somebody will get him. Hell no. If anything, Trump will have it as good as he can have it, because there will be plenty of nuts in there who are MAGA supporters and racist I'm just saying, he'll have no problem having protectors, and especially because he's got some money, that helps too, right? And who he is. But the truth is, the odds are, if he goes to prison, he's likely to be in isolation. They're likely to put him in a lockup 24/7, and he's already got a lot of emotional and psychological baggage that will break him. Solitaire 23/7 by yourself, occasionally listening to shouting at a guard to the damn steel door. No, at least he'll have the money for a radio and a TV if he's in a place that lets him have it. Meanwhile, he won't be able to activate his social media. They don't have social media like we do. He can't get on the internet and talk to people. He can't post it. He'll have to have a third party post, and anything he sends out will be scrutinized by the prison staff. And I guarantee it will be doubly scrutinized because of who he is. Right? And in addition to all that, I think right now their main goal is, it depends on who you ask. There are the people like Jack, what's his face, that's that's getting a lot of the limelight, and what's her, the other prosecutors and stuff, they're doing it because it's their job, and he did violate the law. He did break the law. He did do things that are perceived as being violations and having perceived as being broken the law. So he's going to get his hearing in court. The hard part for me is when I sit there and say, well, you're prejudging Trump. I don't have to prejudge Trump. Trump prejudged himself in the social courtroom. The man was nonstop, won't shut up about the fact, and everything he comes out of us, he's trying to justify and explain the criminal actions he did. Trump, look, Donald, you fucked up, dude. And you fucked up. Everybody fucks up, and you're gonna pay. We all pay. The question is how much and how hard. Because we talk about double standards in America. You're fucking right, it's a double standard in America. If you got money, you don't worry about shit. Your worries are much different from my worries and the average American's worries. I'm worried about the fact that I didn't get an extra 4 hours of overtime last night because of an issue at one of my customers, and that 4 hours of overtime will be the difference between it. When it makes the difference, because of me being able to pay my water bill, because my water bill is 3 times higher than usual because of some weird adjustments and other crap, and I don't know, maybe a leak in my toilet. We haven't figured that out yet too, so I got to wait another month to see if it's just a fluke or if there's actually a problem with the toilet, and then figure out how to go from there and figure out how to pay for that. But meanwhile, I got a $184 water bill. It's usually like $50, $60. And it's been that $50, $60 for 5 years, and then suddenly it's $184. And I called him and asked him, what the hell? And you can show this massive water spike in usage. They get this little flow chart on that's part of the bill, and it shows you, it's pretty steady for the last year, and then suddenly there's this giant spike from last month, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? We're not here watering our damn lawn, and there's only the wife and I and all these cats. We're not taking 400 showers and doing 50 loads of laundry and stuff like that. I mean, and we don't have a sewer, we have a septic, so we don't pay for that. I pay for the septic service. Actually, I service it myself, but that's not the point. So when we look at that, and wealthy enough people, you get that top 1%, let alone the 0.5%, you're in that 10 billion up in club. You're never worrying about the basic bills anymore. You're worried about making your house payment. Stop buying the $20 million fucking mansion you're living in. Get an $80,000 house like me, and not a bowl of Trump change, literally Trump change paid for my house, would pay for my house for most of these people. They didn't even think about it. They spend more on their car than I in an afternoon than I would do on my damn house, my entire possession, right? So, yeah. No offense, America. I love you. I hate you. Y'all insane. Y'all of my fellow Americans. I'd stand up and fight to defend this country today on a heartbeat. And little Missy down there, she would too. Listen to her screaming. She'd tell you the same thing. Things ain't right out here, my friends. This shit with Trump, he got it coming. He needs to be held accountable. And more importantly, those ass clowns behind the man. Those people really knew. They knew more than Trump. Trump is, in his own way, is stupid. I mean, just really step back and just look at how he acts and behaves down through the past decades, and you'll notice he's not a very swift individual. He's not very smart when it comes to a lot of things, which is, I'm hearing that he can barely read. He's a billionaire, can barely read. He thinks he's an aristocrat. Yeah. So, we'll get this full circle. It wasn't all that many decades ago, another country saw a near coup fail. And the leaders of that coup went to prison. And they did time. And then they came back out of that prison far stronger than they were when they went in. And millions, with an M, millions, tens of millions of people died because of it. And changed the world forever. The world will never not remember World War II. I'm just telling you. My opinion. You know, it is what it is. Till next time.